I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles, located at 204 East McGalley Road in Muncie and on eBay as well. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit. Hey, what is up, y'all? This is Alex from Plus3 TCG, and we are going to be taking a peek at one of my favorite decks of all time, if not my favorite deck of all time. If you're new to the channel, I absolutely love Super Heavy Samurais. I love the archetype. I love the fact that you can play 40 card Monster Mash. However, in this, we are playing 37 card Monster Mash with 3 new cards for the support. As you can tell, we are going to be playing Sekka Super Heavy Samurais. This really puts you forward, letting you draw 2 cards. I mean, you can't activate any spells for the rest of the duel, spells or traps for the rest of the duel, except for Sekka's Light. But hey, that's all right, because that's the only spell and trap we're playing. But we'll talk about that last part of the effect as we progress in the deck profile. So, without further ado, my favorite deck of all time. So we are playing 3 Sekka's Light. For those who are new to this card says if you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, draw 2 cards. Also, for the rest of this duel, after you activate this card, you cannot activate spell or trap cards or effects except Sekka's Light. You can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 1 monster in your hand, shuffle it into the deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of Sekka's Light once per turn. Now, this card really puts you forward because it doesn't give you, I guess, a +3, an inherent +3. You get the +1 from this card, and then you get to shuffle a card back, because you're going to have a monster in your hand. Whether that card is able to be shuffled back or not kind of depends on your hand, I guess. If you draw 3 Sekka's Light, I guess you're shit out of luck. But for the most part, this card isn't clogging at all. You're wanting to see this card turn 1 because it gets you the cards you need. However, it does have a weird interaction with Soul Peacemaker, because when you activate it on field, it is a spell, and from the time you activate this, for the rest of the duel, you can't use a Soul Peacemaker. So ideally, you're getting Soul Peacemaker off before you activate this card. But nonetheless, this card is very powerful and gives us a lot more consistency. Now all we need is Daihachi and Musashi for the extra deck, Daihachi for the main deck, and we are golden in this deck. So no more spells, all standard super heavy stuff now. It's playing still 3 scales. One of the best cards in your deck, really gets you all of your extension plays, and you're ideally trying to get this into your hand so you always have a follow-up turn. Then Magnet to extend your plays, special summons from hand. We're only playing 2 of this because we don't want to always see it turn 1. It's not always getting us the extension we need, because if we're opening this with like a tuner or something, then I guess it's good. But the only problem is all the tuners are 2s, and if not, unless you're going second, this card just isn't a card you always want to see, I guess. This card, however, is usually pretty good to get you an extension play, because the problem with Super Heavy is they're all extenders. The entire deck is full of extenders. There's no inherent starter cards that get you the cards you need. That's kind of where we need Daihachi. But for the time being, I guess we'll just deal with the cards we have. Flutist just helps you extend by specialing the card that you need from hand. And then it also gives you the protection from targeting while it's in grave. Speaking of grave effects, we're bringing back an old school card, Super Heavy Samurai Giga Gloves. This card is sent from the field, or this card is just sent to the grave, not from the field to the grave. If you just have it in the grave and there's no spell or traps in your grave, you can pretty much just stack the top 5 of your deck in any order you'd like. And then if your opponent tries to attack directly, you can banish this card and then put that attacking monster's attack to 0, and that's permanently. So this card does a lot. It's not necessarily a starter card, but if you do start with this card, it's not necessarily bad, because if you set it and they just tack into it, then you get to stack your top 5. There's likely going to be something in your top 5 that you're able to at least function with. Hopefully something like a Soul Piercer or something to extend your plays. But if not, I guess that's just the luck of the draw sometimes. But this card can get you there at times, but not always. Trumpeteer, one of the best cards in the deck, just because it special summons itself, as long as you don't have any spell traps in the grave. And then Battle Ball, another great tuner. This card is cool, almost spot removing. You could argue that it's spot removing because it gets rid of problem monsters at times, but it also is a great extender because it helps you special summon your synchros. And then one bad card, but it's, I want to say, a necessary evil at times, because if, let's say, you have Magnet and this card in hand, then you can special out the 6 and then use this card in grave to target that ogre and then lower it to a 5, special summon this, and then you can at least make the 7, the Synchro 7 one. That's kind of like the only reason to play this card, because it allows you to extend, and the fact that it's just another tuner. Then, so these are the super heavies themselves. Everything else is just the soul armors, which are another really helpful part to help extend. So we have super heavy soul piercer. This just, when it leaves the field, goes to grave, you get to search any super heavy from your deck. Then we have Soul Peacemaker. It's another one of the most important cards in the deck. And then once we get Daihachi, part of the 1-card combo. So this just allows you to special summon any of the super heavies from your deck by equipping it and then sending it as cost to the grave. Then we have 2 defensive cards in the form of Super Heavy Samurai Soulfire Suit. Cool because you can activate it in damage step and save your monster. Then we have 2 more defensive cards, 1 Soul Horns and 1 Gauntlet. This is, well, I guess I would say offensive card. This is a responsive card. This allows you 2 more attacks when it's equipped to a super heavy, and this doubles its defense for the rest of the turn. So there are times where in unison both of these usually get you game. And then we have the rest of the cards which aren't super heavies. We have our 2 kaijus. We have Jizukiru and Gamisio. I really wish this was a super. Neither here nor there though, because this card allows you to go into Big Susan, and this card allows you to go into your Train King, which is very important because both of those allow you to at times push for game. And then we are playing 2 Mathematician. One of the reasons we are playing the Giga Gloves, and it can also send the Fist, and then if you need to, you can send a Flutus with it. And then we have our hand traps. Ash, pretty standard from here. 3 Ghost Ogre, and then 2 Veiler to wrap up the main deck. Then for the extra, nothing too crazy in here. We're just playing the 1 Train King, 2 Big Susans, 1 QB, 1 Saratobi for the spot removal and the burn, 1 for the recursion, you can attack directly with it, 2 of, oh I should say his name, 1 Stealth Ninja, 2 of the Ogre Shooting Doji. This card is your Harpy's Feather Duster and one of the best cards in your extra deck. And then for the times you need to board wipe, we have Black Rose. For the times where you aren't always making Big Susan, Chambara, this almost never comes up, but there in theory are times where you can push your game with this. And then we have Gigant for the search, the Diamond Tire for the spot removal from the extra deck. For the most part, like, none of this is being made, it's just in theory, it comes up at times. Akashik because of the spot removal that you can do, non-targeting. Cleafor Genius because you can make it with 2 machines, and Mrs. Radiant because you can make it with 2 Earths. There are times you can make this and it is beneficial, and there are also times where this can come up because of the effect negation. But yeah, that is the updated Super Heavy deck. Now that we have Sekka's Light, I've always been testing with it, but now that we actually have it, it is going to be very nice playing this. Looking forward to getting Daihachi, hopefully, if we ever get it. But until then, y'all, this is Alex from Plus3 TCG, signing out.